Right now, there is a 47% gap in the survival rate between two entirely distinct groups of construction companies. And the crazy part is neither group is necessarily building better structures than the other.
Yeah, it's a completely wild dynamic we're seeing.
Welcome to this deep dive for Scaling Legends.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the construction industry today, like as of March 2026, you are watching a massive fracture happen in real time.
Oh, absolutely.
We are talking about the industry splitting into two completely different realities. The haves and the have-nots. It's not just about, who is busy. It is a fundamental divergence in how companies are operating, who they are successfully hiring, and what kind of backlogs they're actually sitting on.
The landscape is just completely shifting under our feet. For construction business owners, especially those of you operating in that $1 million to $50 million revenue range, the middle ground is basically evaporating.
Yeah, it's gone.
You are either actively positioning yourself on the winning side of this divide, or you're just going to get squeezed out by it. I mean, there really is no posting anymore.
Right, and that is exactly our mission for today's deep dive. We're going to help you navigate this massive market divergence so you end up squarely on the winning side of that divide.
Because you have to be intentional about it.
Exactly. And to do that, today's insights are pulled directly from Smart Business Automator's Market Intelligence Report. We're going to break down the hidden realities of your project pipeline, a massive influx of Wall Street money trying to fix your labor shortage, the tech that is quietly saving profit margins, and a looming regulatory hurdle that could completely stall your hiring. Okay, let's unpack this, starting with what is going on with the industry backlogs.
Yeah, let us look at the headline number first, because it is incredibly deceiving. The Associated Builders and Contractors, the ABC, their construction backlog indicator rose to 8.1 months in February.
Which sounds decent.
Right, it's up 0.1 from January, which had actually hit a 4-year low. So if you just read that headline, you might think, well, okay, things are stabilizing. We have 8 months of runway.
But looking at an average backlog across the entire industry it's like looking at the average temperature of a hospital.
That's a great way to put it.
It totally hides who is running a lethal fever and who is perfectly healthy and ready to go home.
Mm-hmm.
It blends the guys who are absolutely suffocating with the guys who have, way more work than they know what to do with.
What's fascinating here is the hidden gap underneath that 8.1 month average. Because when you peel back the layers, we are looking at a 47% spread between two very distinct groups.
And it's a massive gap.
It's huge.
Wow.
Contractors who have managed to secure data center work are sitting on an incredibly comfortable 11.2 months of backlog. They are booked out nearly a year in advance. But the non-data center firms, the traditional builders, they are squeezed down to just 7.6 months. Yeah, that is a massive structural shift in who gets the luxury of planning for growth and who is just sweating out their payroll month to month.
So, okay, if I am a mid-market contractor listening to this right now and I am not building hyperscale data centers, maybe I do regional commercial retail or maybe I do light institutional, am I just doomed to fight for scraps?
Well,
because I know that if my backlog is hovering under that 7.6 month mark, I am getting dangerously close to a cash flow crisis, like just one major project getting delayed by a permit issue or a client dragging their feet on funding, and suddenly I have guys on the payroll with nowhere to swing a hammer.
Right. I mean, you are not doomed, but you do have to be incredibly strategic and you have to act quickly because the traditional pipeline is demonstrably cooling off. If we look at the Dodge Momentum Index, it dropped 7.3% in February.
Which is significant.
It is, and that is the second consecutive monthly decline. Commercial planning specifically was down 8.9%. What that tells us is that the planning momentum that built up late last year is finally working its way through the architectural and engineering system, and, well, new project entries in the traditional commercial space are slowing down.
Which means the bid opportunities you were relying on 12 to 18 months from now are going to shrink. It's just more guys fighting over fewer traditional projects.
Exactly.
And that inevitably leads to margin compression because, someone is always willing to underbid just to keep the lights on.
That is the danger zone. But there are major bright spots if you know where to look. First, warehouses are kind of bucking the broader trend in the commercial sector. Second, and this is the really critical pivot point, despite the overall decline in early stage planning, 23 mega projects just entered planning in February alone.
23 of them.
Yeah, and we are talking about projects valued at $100 million or more. The mega project pipeline is incredibly strong.
So the takeaway here for you, the listener, is this. You cannot just wait for the public bid boards to fill up with the same, $10 million strip malls or office renovations, because they won't. You need to pivot your business development right now.
Absolutely.
Specifically, you need to target specialty subcontracting roles on those larger mega projects. You might not be the general contractor on a billion-dollar battery plant or a massive regional infrastructure build, but those projects need immense amounts of electrical. They need mechanical, they need concrete, HVAC, site prep.
They need all of it.
And that is where the 11.2 months of backlog lives. You have to figure out how to get your firm pre-qualified to take a slice of those massive pies.
Which naturally brings us to a massive bottleneck. Let's say you successfully pivot. You win a major subcontract on a $100 million facility. You cannot capitalize on those massive mega project backlogs if you do not have the specialized tradespeople to actually execute the work.
Right, it's just a piece of paper otherwise.
Exactly. And as every owner listening knows, the labor pool isn't just tight, it is practically non-existent.
Which is why we need to talk about following the smart money. Because the biggest institutional money in the world just noticed this exact bottleneck, and they are moving aggressively to fix it. We are talking about BlackRock.
Yeah, this is huge.
They manage over $11.5 trillion in assets. And they just announced their Future Builders Initiative, which is a $100 million commitment over 5 years, specifically designed to train 50,000 electricians, plumbers, and HVAC technicians.
It is a staggering influx of private capital into workforce development. They are deploying grant capital to nonprofit and workforce development partners across multiple sites to just get 50,000 skilled trades workers into the pipeline.
Okay, wait, I need to stop you there. I'm genuinely confused by this. BlackRock is a Wall Street asset manager. They deal in equities, bonds, corporate restructuring.
Right.
Why on earth are they getting involved in 19-year-olds dropping out of plumbing apprenticeships? Like, that makes zero sense to me. This can't just be corporate charity for good PR.
Oh, it is absolutely not charity. It is pure risk mitigation. Think about what BlackRock actually owns. They manage over $3 trillion in infrastructure-related assets globally. We are talking about power plants, massive water treatment facilities, regional transportation hubs, and critically, the energy grids powering all these new technologies.
Okay, so they own the end product.
Exactly. And their CEO, Larry Fink, publicly warned that the U.S. could literally run out of the electricians needed just to build AI data centers. If there are no electricians, the data centers do not get built.
Wow.
And if the data centers do not get built, their multi-trillion-dollar investments stall out. They are funding tradespeople to protect their own returns.
See, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because they are Wall Street, they aren't just throwing money blindly at trade schools and hoping for a tax write-off. They looked at the pipeline like a supply chain problem.
They did. And because of that, they have designed a program that is operationally brilliant. They are tackling the specific friction points that cause the labor shortage in the first place. First, they are funding pre-apprenticeship access.
Right.
This means getting marginalized or transitioning workers ready with the basic math and soft skills to actually enter the pipeline. Second, and this is the real game changer, they are focusing heavily on training completion.
Which is a huge issue.
It is. Right now, dropout rates for apprenticeship programs hover over 50%. BlackRock is funding the completion and licensure phase to stop that catastrophic bleed.
And the third piece of their program is what really caught my eye, which is embedding financial education and digital savings tools directly into the training for these workers. That is so smart.
It really is.
Because let's be real about what happens. A young apprentice gets into the trade.
Yeah.
For the first time in their life, they are making real money. What do?
They go buy a truck.
Exactly. They go finance an $80,000 truck at 12% interest. Then life happens, a medical bill or rent hike. Suddenly, they're drowning in debt, the stress becomes unmanageable, and they drop out of the program just to find something that pays cash tomorrow. Fixing the financial literacy piece keeps them in the trade long term.
The biggest investor in the world is validating what every construction owner already feels in their gut. The labor problem is the ultimate binding constraint on growth for the next decade.
So what does this all mean for your business today? Do not just sit back and watch this happen on the news. Connect with local workforce nonprofits right now. BlackRock is deploying this money over the next 12 months to community colleges, workforce investment boards, and apprenticeship intermediaries right in your backyard.
Yeah, you have to be proactive.
If you are a contractor who proactively hosts apprentices, or if you volunteer to sit on the advisory board of these local trade programs, you are going to get first-in-line access to this newly minted licensed labor pool. If you are desperate for a reliable HVAC tech right now, actively partnering with these funded programs is how you fix that problem 2 years from now.
But, that still leaves a massive gap. While we wait for those 50,000 workers to get trained, vetted, and licensed, contractors still have to figure out how to protect their shrinking profit margins right now, today, with the incredibly limited staff they currently have. I mean, you can't just pause your business for 2 years.
Exactly, which means we need to talk about buying time and margin, because if you cannot physically hire more bodies, you have to make the people you do have wildly more efficient, and you have to aggressively strip the risk out of your daily operations. And if we look at Smart Business Automator's market intelligence report, 6 construction tech startups just raised a combined $126 million in recent weeks to help you do exactly that.
That is a very specific, targeted amount of capital flowing into construction technology. And what is really telling is where that money is going. Investors are placing highly concentrated bets on solving very boring but very expensive problems.
Yes, and let's be clear so we don't lose anyone here. This money is not going toward flashy robots doing backflips on the job site or drones that deliver coffee.
No, definitely not.
It is going toward deeply pragmatic tech that targets your biggest liabilities, risk, and cash flow. Let's look at the breakdown. You have a company called Filed raising $41 million and Sincera Systems raising $27 million. Both of these are AI safety monitoring and job site capture platforms.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, for a mid-market general contractor running 5 to 10 active job sites simultaneously, automated safety monitoring is no longer a luxury. It directly reduces incident rates.
Because you can't be everywhere at once.
Right. And it does this by using site cameras and AI to flag safety concerns in real time, like someone working on a ledge without a harness before the fall actually happens. That lowers your insurance premiums, which immediately impacts your bottom line. It also prevents the kind of documentation gaps that lead to massive rework costs or brutal OSHA violations.
Then you have a company called Moab raising $16 million. They are building a unified operating system for equipment rental and dealership businesses. This is basically aiming to kill the fragmented, chaotic spreadsheet and whiteboard methods that so many mid-market contractors still use to track their heavy equipment across multiple job sites.
Oh yeah, because equipment utilization rates are quiet margin killers.
We've all been there. Running equipment dispatch on a whiteboard is like trying to play air traffic control with Post-it notes.
It's a nightmare.
You're paying daily rental fees on a massive boom lift that is literally just sitting in the mud at job site A, doing nothing, simply because the superintendent at job site B didn't get the text message that was available. Moab turns that whiteboard into a GPS-tracked radar screen.
It creates visibility, which prevents you from renting equipment you already have sitting idle across town. And then we look at the financial side of the tech boom. Para just raised $15 million. This is a B2B payment acceleration platform built to operate directly from within existing ERP systems.
And for those who might not be deep in the software weeds, your ERP is your enterprise resource planning software. It is the heavy-duty back-office accounting and management software you are already using to run the business. We all know cash flow is the #1 killer of construction businesses.
Without a doubt.
Think about how payments work now. Your guys finish a milestone, your office generates an invoice, you email it off to the GC, and you wait 60, sometimes 90 days to get paid. Meanwhile, your payroll clears every Friday. Para sits inside your accounting software and basically front-loads that capital the second the invoice is approved by the GC. You aren't playing bank for the GC anymore.
Investors are pouring $126 million into these specific areas because they are identifying clipboard-based safety monitoring, spreadsheet-based equipment tracking, and phone call-based receivables as entirely obsolete. They are massive liabilities.
It is the new baseline. If you are still relying on a junior safety officer with a clipboard to catch every single violation, or relying on your office manager making 50 phone calls a week to chase down payments, the large GCs you want to work for, the ones running those mega projects, are looking at your business as a liability.
They absolutely are.
The takeaway here is that you need to evaluate your tech stack against what is getting funded right now. These tools are rapidly becoming these strict pre-qualification requirements just to get an invite to bid.
It creates a perfect storm of pressure for the business owner. You are trying to hire from a shrinking labor pool. You're being forced to upgrade your technology just to survive and protect your margins. And right in the middle of all of that operational chaos, there is a new regulatory hurdle popping up that complicates both your hiring and your back office operations.
Yeah, so we have talked about replacing missing labor with technology, but what happens when the state steps in and makes it twice as hard to hire the few workers you can actually find? Let's talk about the regulatory squeeze.
This is a tough one.
You are already short on guys, and now the paperwork to hire the guys you can find is getting significantly heavier. We're looking specifically at West Virginia right now. Their state legislature is advancing House Bill 45198, which is known as the E-Verify Safe Harbor Act. This bill mandates that all employers in the state use the federal E-Verify system to confirm that their employees are legally authorized to work in the United States.
And under this legislation, participation would not be optional. Every covered employer must maintain an active E-Verify account, and there are strict escalating penalties for non-compliance, up to and including losing your business license.
Now, we need to look at both sides of this objectively, because this legislation is generating a lot of heat, and it is crucial to understand the arguments driving it. On the pro-regulation side, proponents argue that this simply ensures a legally authorized workforce and creates a standardized, state-level compliance framework.
Right.
The argument is that it levels the playing field, so everyone from the massive GC down to the local sub is playing by the exact same labor rules, preventing bad actors from undercutting bids using unauthorized cheaper labor.
But on the anti-regulation side, the business opposition has been incredibly vocal about the operational realities of this mandate.
Very vocal. You have Republican State Senator Eric Tarr, who is a business owner himself, sitting on the Judiciary Committee. He actually expressed concern during hearings that the intent of the bill feels like a trap for businesses.
Yeah, it's a real fear.
The core argument from opponents is that this adds a massive human resources and administrative burden. Think about a small business that does not have a dedicated compliance officer or a robust HR department. Usually, HR is the owner's spouse or a single office manager who is already drowning in payroll and insurance certs. Forcing them to navigate a federal database for every single hire is a major bottleneck.
This raises an important question for contractors, not just in West Virginia, but everywhere, because West Virginia is just joining a growing patchwork of states that are aggressively expanding E-Verify requirements. This is a rapidly accelerating national trend.
And think about the broader context here. The construction industry nationally is missing over 500,000 workers. We just spent 10 minutes talking about BlackRock spending $100 million just to make a tiny dent in that shortage. An E-Verify mandate, regardless of the legislative intent, practically speaking, potentially constrains an already painfully short labor pool even further.
And the risk isn't just local. If you operate across state lines, say you are based in West Virginia but bid jobs in Ohio or Pennsylvania, a compliance failure in one state can trigger If we pull all of these threads together, the synthesis of this entire deep dive is that the market right now is defined by aggressive divergence. The gap between the haves and the have-nots is widening across every single metric we looked at today.
It really is.
To stay on the winning side, you have to be wildly proactive. You must diversify your backlog to capture that mega project work. You have to tap into new institutional labor initiatives like BlackRock's Future Builders to secure your future workforce. You must adopt the pragmatic cash flow protecting technology we discussed. And you have to proactively tackle compliance hurdles before they become operational bottlenecks.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over as you look at your own business operations this week. We focus so much on the traditional roles in construction, the master electrician, the senior estimator, the grizzled project manager. But what if the ultimate competitive advantage over the next 5 years isn't your bid price or even your tradesman?
That's an interesting way to look at it.
What if the most valuable person in your company becomes the chief AI officer? Someone whose sole job is to integrate new technology so fast and streamline compliance so thoroughly that your overhead drops to near zero. The firms that win this decade won't necessarily be the best builders. They will be the ones fastest at adopting the tools and systems their competitors are too stubborn to try.
It really is an adapt or die moment. The market is giving you very clear signals. You just have to be willing to adjust your operations to meet them.
Exactly. Well, that wraps up this deep dive for Scaling Legends. We covered a lot of crucial ground today, so make sure you subscribe, rate, and review the show on your preferred platform. It genuinely helps other construction owners find us.
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference.
Take a moment to share this deep dive with your leadership team, your head of operations, your estimators, your HR team, so you're all working from the exact same playbook. And be sure to visit smartbusinessautomator.com to learn how their AI platform helps construction companies scale without drowning in the exact kind of admin work and compliance paperwork we talked about today.
Utilizing those tools is the only way to manage the growing complexity without losing your margins.
It really is. So going back to where we started, I just said I wouldn't use that word, but going back to the beginning, when you look at the temperature of your own business today, are you looking at the real numbers? Or are you just comforting yourself with an industry average that hides the fever? Take a hard look at your backlog, fix your blind spots, and build the agility to cool things down before they burn up. Thanks for joining us. We will catch you on the next deep dive.